Our sponsors this week is the Heritage Chippy, best salt and pepper box in Liverpool. Free Chinese meals for £15 every Wednesday. Every Monday, all burger meals at our price. Give them a follow. Thanks. Hello everybody, welcome to the Billy Moore podcast, and today's special guest is none other than Brian Cockerill, aka the Taxman.
Yep.
Nice to meet you, Brian.
And you, Billy.
Right, so thanks for coming on, Brian.
Oh, it's been it's a pleasure, mate, to be with you, obviously.
Thanks for inviting me into your home.
No, you're welcome anytime.
With the sunbeds in the room.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'd just like to say, I think your brother is obviously your hero, isn't he? And he's absolutely brilliant, Joe, what he does, and that just to put him in there. So I've got him some bits and bobs there, so yeah.
So this is my brother, Joe. Yeah. No,
so listen, Joe, we love you to bits, mate. Yeah, so what do you want to ask me?
So just, see, I'll tell you what it is, right? I don't really do a lot of research about my guests.
Yeah.
I think if you do that, you start knowing what's coming, don't you? So I haven't really done much. I had a little look at McIntyre's documentary last night, briefly.
Yeah. Right.
And I thought, yeah, okay. So I'm going to stop here and let Brian tell me a little bit about his story. So what was it like growing up in Middlesbrough? Is this?
Well, what it was, I was from Cowardice in Scotland.
Yeah.
We came down to Middlesbrough when I was a child, about 3-year-old. We moved to South Bank, and then we moved to Redcar, and then we moved to Hartlepool. So I was really brought up in Hartlepool, where the monkey hanger. The legend goes where they hang the monkey. So I was at school, and I was always with my uncles. I was brought up with them. Still had a Scottish accent. And when I was going to school, I got bullied. I had a bad hip. My leg, I didn't short because I was born with a dislocated hip. I had asthma. I had all different problems. I had dyslexia. But in them days, I thought you were just thick. And they'd ask you, the teachers ask you to say, spell something. I said, I can't spell JCB, no man. And what a word, dyslexia, to spell for people, just crazy. So I got bullied at school a lot. And I was all strategically minded, because I think in them days, if you were 5 miles from school, then you'd get a bus. But if you were like 3 or 4, which we were, you had to walk. So it was always these 6 bullies got me every day. A lot of people have had this. And they'd bully me all the time. You can't tell the teachers in them days. You couldn't go in because our family are all Scottish. Get out there and fight and get into them. And you can't fight 6 kids, especially when you've got asthma in hospitals and things. So I got bullied terrible as a kid. Yeah.
And the same, right?
Yeah.
Seriously, mate. I had little knobbly knees, loads of freckles, shocking ginger hair, and you get called shit splash by all the kids that were cruel back then.
Yeah.
Still are, to be fair.
I got bullied terrible at school, but that was by the teachers.
Did you used to get the cane?
We used to get the cane, and then we also went to another school. You used to get like a strap, a leather strap, with a little, like Cat 90 or something it's called. You used to get that. And you also get the Sancho when we went to the school. Mr. Sudley used to say, the madness, same old backsides again. We were like that. We're always getting in trouble and doing daft things, But when I got to about 13, Billy, I started. I used to fantasise as you do as a kid. I'd watch films like Jason the Argonauts or the Hulk, Arnold Schwarzenegger. And when I watched that, I just wanted to be like that, strong. And if you were like that, nobody would bully you. And I used to fantasise. And I started training on the weights at 13. I got an old set of weights off my uncle who gives them. I started training on the weights. I left home at 18. I went to Redcar, and I started doing well. I started training with 2 lads, a bit like in the Pump and Iron film, like Frank O'Columba and Arnold Schwarzenegger. One was called Terry Cooper, one was called Peter Ayton. So I jumped in with these. We were in an old chapel gym. It was called the Chapel Gym. It used to be a church. Yeah. It was the old type, like the old Rocky film ones where it's falling to bits, the gym and everything. We were in there, and after 2 years, I trained for the Mr. England. I went to the Mr. England. I come 5th.
What's that? Is that a bodybuilding?
Mr. England bodybuilding show. Yeah, I went in there. Didn't have a clue what I was doing. Never took steroids or nothing. Went on stage and far too much baby oil. Stood on stage with a pair of underpants in front of 1,000 people. So you have to have a bottle to do it, But at least I got on there and I done it. I come 5th. I did another couple of shows, and I was really strong, so I started doing the powerlifting.
So what year was this? Like you was doing your bodybuilding?
I was training there. It was 1986 when I competed. Yeah. So and then I went down and got a job on the door. I just asked if you got any jobs, and when do you want to start? Whenever, you can start tonight. And I got a job straight away on the door, and I went in the door. I could fight, but I wasn't. I boxed at the Catholic club in Hartlepool, and I boxed with my uncles a bit, but I wasn't that good, very shy. A lot of arguing to my house with mum, alcoholics and gambling and things like that. So we never had much food and things like that. So
here's a quick one, right? Because this is always a contributing factor, right? I believe you can choose a path whether you go down this path or that path, right? And you know this, Brian, right? So your background, like growing up, right? You know, was it volatile? Was there a lot of alcohol? Was there a lot of drugs? Was there a lot of violence?
It wasn't drugs. It was just a lot of violence every day, and there was a lot of alcohol and leaving and not coming back for a while. And
look, so you
I was virtually left with my brothers and sisters to bring them up myself and pinch
Was
out
you
of
the
shops.
oldest?
I was the oldest,
Yeah, so you're similar to me.
Yeah,
I'm the oldest out of 6. I've got a brother who's got autism. My dad drank a lot.
Well, my brother's got autism, and he's my nephew's got full autism. So
So see, like there's a lot of similarities here.
Yeah.
Both bullied at school, whether it was by the teachers, whether it was by kids. You know, I got beat up by kids at school. I got beat up by teachers at school. I got beat up in the home.
You feel like you can't turn to your mum and your dad because they're all, get out and fight yourself, and you can't turn to them, can you? And so I think even as an early age, depression started setting in then.
I couldn't trust anyone. I got to a point, right, where I even went to a police station.
Yeah.
Right, I went to a police station. I mean, I was a really young kid. I was scared.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted some help. You know, I thought these are the people that'll help me. And they just put me in the car and took me home.
Yeah.
And I got battered again by my dad.
Yeah.
So where does that leave you growing up?
Well, you're the product of your environment, aren't you?
Yeah.
You end up being like that. But the only good thing, I never really drank and I never gambled, so it put me off for life. That because my dad would make £600, go out and blow it all in one day, and we'd have no food. And I'd be pinching tatties out of fields and old turnips and things like that, and living off things like that. But times were hard. But I was a bit like that kid, Kess, the film. When he had no proper shorts, and you'd have I'd have a size 11 shoe and a size 6 shoe on, playing football, and the people would take the piss out of you. But there was a lot of kids like that, us in the same boat, but you just got on with it, and you wouldn't ask for like big presents at Christmas and things because you just had to get what you got. So it was like 7 in the family, so but we had to just move on and just do it.
So you think you suffer with, like, you know, I don't even think we're aware of it, are we? Like, we suffer with low self-esteem.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah,
suffer with low self-esteem, low self-worth is a big one. Don't feel nothing.
Yeah.
You know, growing up conditioned to believe that you know
you're useless.
Yeah. You're told.
That's
you're told.
I'd say, I'm in the football team. Oh, so what? And that love where you're like, oh, brilliant. Right now, it's more. Kids don't know the ball nowadays.
No,
but,
there's too much temptation for them. There's too much given. Yeah. You know what I mean, it's not an
You have to earn things in them days. I mean, you'd have to work. I used to work on the beach. My dad used to get sea coal off the beach. The coal would come on the beach and land, and you'd scrape it and put it on the back of an old Bedford truck, and it'd be like 50 ton of coal. 16-year-old getting that with my dad, you know. And I saved up for a motorbike. It worked my socks off, to get there. But the kids will go in now. Can I have a pair of trainers, like £200-300, or Mum, can I have a phone, £1,200 for a phone, so they get things. But you had to work when we were kids, cutting grass and helping people with washing windows, washing cars, and a lot of kids are overweight now because they just sat in the house. Don't get me wrong, the computers are good, but it's taking away that value where, we'd have our dinner on a Sunday, we'd all watch a Sunday matinee, and the family was more orientated. And but now a kid loses a phone, they're like, they've lost a limb. Oh, Mum, I've lost my phone, and they go crackers.
Exactly. And see, that's the kind of like the old traditional values back then. I know my mum stuck to the old traditional values. Every Sunday we all got a bath, and then we all had like we all had Sunday roast at the table. Then at tea time we had like jelly cakes, and it was like a party for, every Sunday evening, and then she throw the nick comb through your head. And that was that was the only intimacy we ever felt.
Yeah, you know you had nits because you'd be off school when they go, Nitty Ness has got you. That was like a steel comb that you said, didn't it really? In them days, nobody had their hair. It was all, I was born in the 70s, 60s, so growing in the 70s, we had the hair like John Travolta, so we'd be pulling your hair out.
So what year was you born?
64.
64, so you got about a decade on me, so you probably lived through the decades I was growing up, really. Like the 70s and 80s.
That's right, well, in the 70s there was power cuts, the electric would just go off.
I remember,
and there was I think it was a 2 or 3 day week, I think it was called, when you only work so many days a week, there wasn't enough electricity. And there was also 76, there was the hottest summer. It was hose pipe bands, and the water was terrible. And
I remember them.
They come round with the water and give you water because there wasn't enough water for you.
I was born in 73, so I didn't. It's kind of.
You're watching the telly in them days. There was only BBC One, and BBC Two and Time Tees. There was only 3 stations.
Time Tees.
Yeah, that was it. 3 stations. And, but you thought it was great watching like a Saturday morning. You'd watch Johnny Wiseman and the Tarzan film and Jason the Argonaut. And
see, they don't
excited.
Yeah, it was one. It's like, you know, I grew up on George Formby and everything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
leaning on the lamppost.
It was just like loads of black and white movies, but
I used to like the old James Cagney movies and Humphrey Bogart films and the African Queen and things. All them old. I think the movies are miles better than the actors are miles better than they are now, and just a different era, isn't it? It's just
everyone like now it's like, you know, now they've got iPhones. Back then we had I Spy. You know what I mean? That was about it.
Well, when your mum would say you're in, get in your bedroom, you'd be devastated because you'd be in a bedroom. You had the candlewick quilt, like a little blanket. And you'd look out the window and everyone would be playing outside. You'd be stood near your bunk bed. You wouldn't have nothing. Now when they say get to your bed, I'd be over the moon to go to a teenager's bedroom. They've got satellite tellies, phones, mobiles, DVDs. They've got everything. It isn't. There's no punishment now. There's none whatsoever. You get caught shoplifting now, they just tell you off, go and you can go. We get the cops, when we used to nick into the Pools football ground, I know it's embarrassing Hartlepool watching them, and we go in there, you get a good eye off the bobby, the beat bobby give you a good slap and things like that. It was a deterrent, and you get the cane at school, like you said, but now it's just, the more bad you are, the more the good to you. Do
you ever, like, I always ask myself this question, right, because I don't think I ever had that instinct where I wanted to hurt people, right, but I know that from like watching your story on McIntyre's and, you know, the way I seen like there was a bit like there was empathy, you know, you kind of empathise with sure, you know, with whoever you were having a bit of beef with, or did you ever feel, right, because I wanted people to think, right, I was a tough coaster man and I was like an allocation, I had that persona, and I throw that mask on, I portray this character, but in reality I didn't want to hurt anyone. I didn't want to hurt anyone.
We're being bullied. I just thought if I could, when I started, the first fight I had when I was 13, I was getting beat up till I was then, and then when I was 13, I won this fight. I grabbed the lad, threw him over. It was probably one of the first misconceptions. I'll tell you a funny story. I used to watch Hong Kong Fu. You know, there was a cartoon out years ago, and it was the dog cartoon.
I remember it.
And he was Hong Kong Fu. And I used to go to my nana's at the weekend and say, "Where'd you go every week?" And I said, "Oh, I'm going. I'm a black belt in in karate it was then." And I said I do the kung fu and everything at my uncle's and that, and they teach me, and I was like walk around dead hard like to 10-year-old or something, and one day they just led off and me out and beat me up. So that didn't last, but for a couple of months I was like the tough case, but it was just me trying to live a life, you know what I mean, to stop the bullying.
I think the same was with myself, Brian. It was like you know, I was sick inside of being sick inside, and I'm fed up of getting picked on and bullied. And I remember this kid used to chase me
that's horrible, isn't it? Fear is horrible, isn't it?
He used to go to school, he used to have to go on this route every day, and I'd walk past his house, and he'd come running out of his house and chase me. And I joined this boxing club, and a couple of months later, I'm in this little fair, local fair, in Speaking, Liverpool, and he fronted me. I thought, I'm not standing for this no more. And I had my hands up in that boxer stance. I just thought, I'm going to do a left and a right, and that's all I did, and I put him on his backside, and it was like, and you know, like, I just felt...
Do you feel like a ton of bricks, like it comes off, you think, I don't have to run no more?
No, that was it. It was like, I'm not running no more, I'm standing up for something. I'm not going to fall down and accept all this no more. Is that where you were going with your life? Was
100%,
it like, you'd had loads of like hardships and, you know...
I thought when I had the fight with the kid, I beat him. I thought, well, this is better than run away. I would get up and I would go to bed the night before I even got to bed. I think, I'll get to school tomorrow without them getting me. And I'd go, where we lived near an embankment, where you go up the top of the bank and it was a railway. I could go over the railway, or I could go the front one where the road was, or I could go the beach. It was a beach. And every time I picked different routes, sometimes I'd win, sometimes they'd get me. So it was like, it was always 6 of them, you know, gang of 6 of them. And I actually got one of them years and years later. I remembered him. And I knocked him out, broke his jaw. It was about 26 at the time, but I remember me when I was a kid, you bastards, when you used to jump me. But you have that.
You don't forget it, do you?
I hate bullies. One thing I've never been is a bully in my life. Never bullied anyone. And I just don't like bullies. I just can't, because I always had that. Some people become the bully. Bullied becomes the bully. I've never been like that, you know. That's why I can go anywhere I want, anywhere, and nobody bothers me because nobody's trying to. Like a lot of people have been bullies. They get old, and then the sons of the dad of the bully comes and fills them in. I've never had that type of stuff, so I've always got on with people.
What was the relationship with your dad?
He was a stepdad, but he's still my dad. He brought me up, you know. But it was good. But it was just like in the 70s, it was a different thing. They were out, he was working maybe every day on the beach and things like that. So yeah, it was all right. And my mum drank a lot and that, and she'd leave the home a lot, you know. So you get upset. Obviously, your mum's gone and you're on your own, and get when somebody leaves you, type of thing. It was a bit depressing. So I think you get depression even when you're young. You don't even realise it just because you're a kid. The
loss and the longing, isn't it?
Yeah. And you sit there and you think, what am I going to do here? What am I going to do? So you have that stress on you all your life. And when you get older, what's happened to you as a child, Sigmund Freud said, that it comes out later on in life. So,
and I believe that to be true. Yeah. I believe that what contributed to my childhood affected me in my adulthood.
Yeah.
Growing up, I mean, I always promised my mum would never be like my dad, and it sort of became like my dad in a way where it was like, he drank a lot, but I took drugs. I took that route. You know, it's where we've got a choice here. You know, and we talk about choices, right? But I never knew what a choice was.
No.
I wasn't made aware of a choice back then. You know what I mean? It was either like...
You were just told when you what to do.
Yeah, you know, and it was a different kind of growing up. So, you know, you're a pretty big fella, 6'3".
Yeah.
You know, what weight are you now?
I'm about 22 stone now. I was 24 nearly when I was going for the World Strongest Man and stuff.
And how old was you back then? So, like,
I was like, when I was 20, people say, he wasn't that strong. And I've got friends like Kev Kilty and people like that who've been there in gyms. And I've got a video on YouTube, but I was like 37 coming up. Yeah. I'm still squatting over 700 pounds and, you know, doing massive weights.
So what's that, 5 plates a side?
7 plates each side and a
720s?
720s each side and a 10, but I had done 820s each side, a 10 and a 5. Yeah. But the bar's bending on your back when I got that way, and you've got to have 2 people each side to help you lift it out. So people, he's only squatting 700, 300, he's only squatting 350 kg. As if it's nothing, like as if they all can do it, you know. But I was curling 100 odd kg. I was doing upright row 140 kg. I was just ridiculously strong. So
but you trained like a machine.
I trained since I was 13. I never had a drug till I was about 26 and a half. And I bumped into Lee Duffy. We had a fight, and then he ended up making up with me. And that's when the taxing came in, and we started taxing all the dealers.
Yeah, Lee Duffy, I don't know much about him. I think I've heard, you know, he's been coming up a bit.
Yeah.
He's passed away now, hasn't he?
He has, yeah.
What happened with how did you meet him?
Well, he was walking down the street, and my friend Kevin, who was here today, was with us. And he tried it on with me, and he hit me, and I half went down with a squat. He hit me on the slide. He's taught me, he's one of them who'll dig you, you know. And push myself up off the floor. You know, you can half go down, you push yourself up. And when I was that big, he was 14.5 stone, really good boxer, but we'd been 24 stone nearly when he grabbed me. He was finished, because you can't box when somebody's that heavy. And I just threw him into the wall, headbutted him and elbowed him a few times, and he was finished. And his mate, he shot John, get him off me, but then he went away. I had a broken hand and a thumb at the time, was bad. And I went looking for him, and he didn't want to fight me. He ended up befriending us. And we ended up teaming up and taking over the whole of Teeside at the time. So it was like a massive tag team. He was the best fighter in the area, I was the best fighter in the area. So together we were like unbeatable type of thing. Yeah.
Well, that's it, isn't it? When you've got someone who's game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was kind of like a Ronan, me. I was more solitary in life. You know what I mean? I got to a point where I didn't want to trust, you know, I couldn't trust anyone.
Do you feel like when you trust them, they let you down, they hurt you even more? Yeah. Do you feel like that? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I know for a fact that I'm loyal, right?
Yeah, I know that. I can tell it a mile away.
I'm a loyal friend. If I'm your mate, I'm your mate.
I'm the same, exact same. Yeah. And like, you'd have to do something extra bad to stop me.
There's a saying, right, Brian? You're either loyal to one or you're loyal to none.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I'm your mate, I'm loyal.
I've got friends like Kevin was with us today. I mean, 30 odd years friends, and 35 with this one, 35 with that one. You don't stay friends with people like that if you're not loyal.
Well, I didn't find growing up that there was anyone loyal. You know, the loyalty wasn't reciprocated. So I kind of lost trust in that friendship with anyone.
I find when you got a bit old that you can trust. It's like me and you. I know for a fact what type of person you are, and you know what I am.
Yeah.
You seem to find that way, don't you, by talking to people, look in their eyes, and you can speak to them, and you can tell when somebody's telling the truth or bullshitting you. And you just when you start telling lies, or it's like me when we were speaking earlier on. Every fight I went to, I had fear. Like, am I going to win? Yeah, I'm going to win. Oh, but what if this, what if that? And you go through all that analogies, don't you? When you get there, you win the fight, and you think, that was easy, that. But to get to that fight, like we said, it's a spontaneous fight. Like somebody come in this house, like a load of lads would jump up and have a fight. It's no problem, but you wait in 10 weeks or something, the fight's come on. Little things creep in your mind on. Even Mike Tyson, everyone gets that type of fear, don't they? But I think it's what Costamata said, it's the coward does what he does, makes him the coward, and the hero does what makes him the hero. But they both have the same fear.
Yeah, and that I think that's just part of our makeup, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's if you've got no fear, I think you're either brain damaged.
Yeah.
Right, you've got serious mental issues, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
of course.
You're probably not.
Oh, you're a liar. Simple as
that. Yeah, that's another one, isn't it? There's loads. Have you ever come across? Well, I have. I don't know about yourself. You probably have. Don't know what I mean? Those who glorify.
Oh yeah.
Like you know, talk about how
hard. And then a fight kicks off. They run to leave you.
They'll talk about how hard they are. You know, I've heard it, mate. You know, and you know, it's people who feel inadequate.
Yeah.
And insecure about their own abilities.
Of course.
So they've got to elevate themselves with this.
To something that they're not.
Yeah. I'm gonna. Someone told me a story, and I was like, mate, right? I'm thinking to myself, I wouldn't want to mess with you. And then it come to the crunch where he was going for a straightener with someone and he ran. Right, and I thought, you could sell. You could sell me a great story, but when it comes to
doing
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
talking the talk and walking the walk's totally different.
Yeah, definitely.
But,
so
I think you've got to earn your stripes. Once you've got them, you've earned your stripes. Like what you went through is just phenomenal. And same type of thing we've talked about. I think you've got to say, like, I'm not taking no bullshit off anyone. I'm not running for no one. I've had fights where there's been like 10 and 12. I had a fight in Spennymoor once. We were fighting, worked on a rough club. It was all them national fronts from up there, him throwing money at me. Oh, it's just good to keep the money up. Then I started throwing stones. So anyway, I ran over and I knocked 4 or 5 of them on their arse, and he hit one with the left hook, and when you just catch him, and he only went down. And he thought, that never hurt. And he got up and he went to run across the road, and the car went boom, knocked him over and broke both his legs. I shot, that fucking hurt though, didn't it? And then later on, the police would come by and said, all right, big fella, I thought, I'm going to get nicked for you. He said, did you see that lad who got knocked over? I said, oh yeah, officer. He said, the funny thing was, it was his brother-in-law coming with his own car to pick him up and take him to work. So you couldn't make that story up, you know. No. It's just so much fun. If you work the doors, you know, you have nights, and I've had fights with people who were 10 stone lighter than me and I've struggled. Yeah. I've had fights with a lad who was 6'7" and knocked him out one punch, so they don't always go to plan, do they, when you have a fight?
No, it's not. No, I've never worked on the doors. I was always on the receiving end of everyone's like backhand, really. Yeah. I was probably one of those who could take an iron and like that, you know, that you're talking about, like Einstein, repeat the same mistake, but expect different results. You know, I'd get up, think it'll be different this time, and I'd get battered again, and get up, look, this will be different this time, because I'd always be going up against the odds, and like I always would, but it's like I'd fight people. Yeah, but you know, pretty.
But we're not trying to glorify it. None of us are, we, because it's wrong, in it. You know, at the end of the day, the tax wasn't good. No. I mean, we did wrong. The fighting's not good because all it gets you is jail, doesn't it? And I think kids who listen to us today, and Billy will agree with me, the best thing for you to do is get in the gym, isn't it? Get yourself a trade, get yourself a job, and stop hanging on with drug dealers, because you'll end up selling drugs, and it's not worth it, because you're going to end up, anyone who sells drugs, like myself, you start selling them, you start doing them, you end up start taking them, then you get addicted to them, then you set your own house thinking, what's that out there? And your paranoia is unbelievable. I'm going to do a book on cocaine psychosis, and I'll be looked out my window and I thought, somebody's pinching my car there, and I've gone out with a knife, stabbed all the tyres, got up the next day and it was the headrests. But then if £300 for new tyres, and then I had to get a recovery truck, nobody there, just looking out windows.
Your mind is like just
sleep deprivation. You're up for days on end on the coke and on the crack, and you're just absolutely paranoid. You're looking out the window, there's no one there. I mean, I watched Breaking Bad, the series, and it's fantastic. There's 2 big motorbikers, one with a shotgun. He's getting off the bike, and the lad's like watching him. He's been on the crystal meth. He's looking out the window, he's seen him coming, and another one's coming, another big one, the machete. Yeah. And in real life, it was just 2 Bible bashers coming to the door, put 2 pamphlets on 2 pedal bikes, but in his mind, he was seeing these 2 big massive Hells Angels. So I thought, that's exactly whoever done that series has got it spot on, because your mind just tricks you, doesn't it?
It manifests the most craziest, insane things. You know, I've been there. I thought the Hall of Waverley police station was hiding behind the lamppost once. the whole station.
I've been there.
Every time I turn to look at it.
They all hid back around the lamppost.
Yeah.
I've been there. I could hear the noise outside the helicopter. You know, with the SAS and all that crap that rescue over the airs. And they'll come, they all come out here when there's like 60 of them banging the shields. And I went, I'm Spartacus. Out the window, just lost the plot. Lazy, crazy.
I could hear a pin drop.
Yeah, that's right.
About a mile away.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. You could hear the milkman tree. Yeah, and you'll go to some, shh, shut up, what's that noise? It's me breathing. Well, stop breathing. Yeah. Absolutely insanity when you're on it. And you look out the window and you'll see something. Joe, that's something. It's a tree moving. You think, it's somebody waving at you or something. It's just horrible. You said something before and you said, yeah, Billy will agree with me on this. And I do agree with you. You know, like, it's like, it gets to a point where you've lived a life of violence, right? You've been either subjected to violence. Yeah.
You've participated in violence. And it's part of who you are.
Yeah.
Now, the hardest thing to do, right? And I know it's probably, you know, it is being for me. I'm not speaking for anyone else, but for me, is to have to walk away.
Yeah.
It's to take that breath that separates the men from the boys. You go,
yeah.
And that in that moment, you make that decision where you go, okay, so this can either go one way or another.
Yeah.
Right. And I've had to like turn and walk away, and my mind
thinks you're a bit of a coward.
Shit out.
Yeah.
You shit back, get back and sort it out. What's wrong with you? And
but you've got to think about your brother, haven't you? Like,
yeah,
my brother.
It's like,
you've got to think about your family, and the thing is with you, I know you are, and you obviously with your hands, what you can do. The classiest, like with the got the classiest, that lethal weapons, your hands, and all these crappy things that come out with. You get hammered, you go to jail, and you're sitting in jail, and you sat there thinking, how many? And I've never been to jail in my life for myself. It's all for other people, and I've always stuck up. But I've had to walk away the last few years. I've got with my wife, changed my life around, got baptised in the sea. Tony, who's seen today, was a church leader, and I've just got a better life. I've been off the drugs for over 2 years. I don't even. We even found a bag of coke the other day. Me and my wife down the town, a little bag of coke on the floor. Picked up. She got that. She just tipped it out in the snow. That'd be me. I'd have been flying home years ago. Don't have a go for. That's how much I've changed. It's just unbelievable. And we're helping people. We've saved 36, 37, I think, as people from committing suicide. We've saved a few from Liverpool. We've got army lads, places who've been living on the streets. And when you do good deeds like that, you feel good going to bed. You know, you think, I've done a good thing. It's better. I'd rather help someone than hurt someone these days. And that life of crime is no good. You're in out of jail. You're on the drugs all the time. And you're hanging out around. It's like when I say to people and they say, I want to get off the drugs. Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to stop living in the past and living your life in the past. Because if you keep living in the past, you'll never live for today. So if you live for today, you can't live for tomorrow, you can't live in the past, because that's a concept. One hasn't come and one's gone. So if you live for today and live your life every day as if your last, you'll have a brilliant life. But if you if the bad memories of the past are making you ill today, you're going to be ill tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day. So you must sever that, take that microchip out, throw it away and put a new one in and just change your mindset. I listened to a bloke called Joe Dispenza, and I was talking to James English about it. He said, I listened to him, we really got on the same as you. And when you tell the truth as well, you shine, don't you? When you tell lies, people can see through. And I was bad on the drugs, really bad. I was every day. I was thinking, it wasn't a life, it was an existence. It was just like, I'll get the next bit of gear, I'll get an eighth, rock it up, get all excited, have a go, please, shh. And I was getting the telly, and I was having to put blankets on the telly, thinking they're watching me through the telly, and absolutely crazy things.
So your using was uncomfortable?
Yeah, really bad, yeah. But I still, the mindset was, if I get more, I won't be paranoid, but I'll be even more paranoid. I'll be on it for days.
How clean are you now? How long have you?
It's over 2 years now. So
well done.
I'm not even interested. I've been offered it 5 or 6 times when we've been out. I've been places where people have got to say, I've just walked out. I'm not interested one bit. I'm with my wife now. We met her 30 years ago. We got back, we got married. And I've been with her, and I've just got a brilliant life with her. Before it was just getting out of bed and thinking drugs. I was completely, like I was possessed. So I've been to the church, went there, and it's just a better life, and just helping people is brilliant.
So when did you start taking drugs, Brian?
The first time I ever had Ecstasy was Lee Duffy, God rest his soul, but obviously he'd never give me it. And we were in a club, and they gave me this half. It was from Liverpool, they were called biscuits, and he snapped it in half, and he gave me it, and I was stood there, and I just went all funny, and he was dancing, doing this Cossack, because he could do one squat, one-legged squats, like really strong, and jumping about, and I thought, I'm off my head here. What's going on? Didn't have a clue. And then we were in the rave. That was the very first time. And then I had coke with him. And then we had crack with him. And I was on it. I was off it. I was on it. I was off it. I was on it for about 10 years. And I just got off it. I just looked in the mirror one day, thinking about doing myself in, arguing with God, saying, if you're real, show me yourself. And I need to get off these drugs. If you need to help me. And then the voice was saying, you need to help yourself. And I looked at the mirror one day. I went, get on your feet. And I listened to this man called Joe Dispenza. I listened to Tyson Fury, how he was bad and things like that. I thought, he's done fantastic. So Frank Bruno and people like boxers, Andy Holyfield and that all struggled with drugs and stuff. So changed my life. And I just looked in the mirror and said to myself, like, get off the gears. If I was telling myself off, I was the adult and that was the kid in the mirror. And I've just been never looked back. It's been brilliant.
So now you've got no desire?
Nothing whatsoever. You know, you could put a mountain full of cocaine and I wouldn't be bothered. I'm just not interested one bit. So it's just every time people ring me, I'm up and I'm out. We're up every day about 8 o'clock. We're doing things. We're doing the book. We've done 4 documentaries in the last few months. We've done one on trolls, about what trolls do. They're bullies. They're bullying people on the internet, and there's people taking their lives because they can't handle criticism, some people, and they're getting bullied by people, and shame on them because people are taking their lives through it. So he asked me what 3 things. I said, well, I think if you bully someone, you should be taken down for 6 months. If you bully again, keep doing the same thing, you should be taken down for life. And the third was, I think the police should arrest them and they should be jailed for it. I really think they should go to jail because they the bullying people to the extent that people taking their lives is ridiculous.
It's not going to change, is it?
No
matter what we you put.
I think they need to police it more. You know
consequence. Well, no matter what consequences.
Facebook people, they're making trillions of pounds every year. They need to. You need to be able to speak to someone to say that I'm 13 years old. I'm getting bullied off loads of kids at school, and because, like you said, these days kids are getting bullied and they take their own lives through this social media. So it is a good thing in one way, but it's a nightmare in some ways.
Has anyone ever called you a bully?
Oh yeah, I've been called a bully. I got called one before. He said, "You were a bully." I said, "Well, can you tell me who I bullied?" Well, and then they just haven't got a clue.
Yeah, well, you're not alone. I got called a bully once, and I asked him who had bullies, and he said, "This kid in prison."
Yeah.
We're not in kindergarten, mate. You know what I mean? It's not
It
was probably a straightener that.
Yeah.
I don't know, mate. I've probably done a lot of things that I didn't want to do, you know, and for drugs as well. You know, it was like I was using. You know, it was like my ways and means to get more, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've done a lot of unsavoury things. Yeah. So
you've got to forgive yourself. You've got to forgive yourself. If you don't forgive yourself, you can never move on, can you? You've got to know what I've done was wrong. Nobody. He wasn't sin, cast the first stone. We've all sinned. We've all done something wrong, but you've got to put your hand up like you have and I have. And if you
I took advantage. I took advantage of my skills and my size and my abilities, and probably like yourself, Brian. It's a part of who we are. We take advantage, and it is what it is.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah. But the good thing is that you can reflect on it. You can hopefully change that.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and give people, you know, a bit of guidance these days, young kids especially. Say, look, I did do that. I did think it was an hard case. I did go around taking advantage. Yeah. I did
It's not clever.
It's like, you see,
And we're not glorifying it. My book, the new one I've just done, the Brian Cockerill, Lee Duffy, Taxman of Teeside. In that book, most of the people have been killed, and all the stories in there are all authentic stories and things about Lee Duffy himself. A lot of funny stuff. But what the book's about is hope as well. Just to say, look, please don't follow what me and Lee did. Yeah. It's not good. And two policemen stopped us once in the street in Middlesbrough, and they said, "Look, we're getting 100 phone calls a week about you, or a day, or whatever it was." Yeah. But even if there was it was only 10% of what we were getting, you're still terrorising everyone. So we didn't think we were. We were just thinking, we're only taxing drug dealers. We're not hitting normal people. We're not going houses with there's kids and women, and we're just hitting drug dealers. And we never.
So you could justify.
Yeah, well, that's what I used to say. Well, if you're going to sell drugs, obviously you're open range. Yeah. But what we used to do, we didn't have to get anyone because we were that big. We just get the gear off them and that would be it. What do you do with this? I said, well, we took half the gear. I'm not going to lie to people. And we did that, but it wasn't clever. Obviously, we don't want other kids to do it. But what's happening now, there seems to be, in our days and in yours, you'd have right, Billy, I'll meet you on the field up such and such. test scores. You come with your brother, I come with my brother, you have a fight, you'd shake hands, and it'd be forgot about. Now it's like 20 onto 20 with knives and crazy putting your windows through. And
they just smoke, you know,
no morals.
Doing like what you did back then, it wouldn't work today.
No, certainly not.
So, say, who did you know around the country, right, that you knew was doing that similar thing? That's probably changed.
Not really many people, because everywhere we went, we'd say we were taxing. People had never heard of it. You know, in them days, because it was
anyone in Liverpool? Did you ever heard of anyone in Liverpool?
No, I never heard. I went to Liverpool. I was in jail, and people were telling me little stories and different things, but we never heard that much really of it. You know, but there's obviously people were doing it. But
did you ever come across Frenchie?
Well, I'm doing a 3-part documentary with him, and we were supposed to do a night in Birmingham. And a big castle thing down there, but I never met him, but I've heard about him.
I've spoken to him a few times.
The
devil, that was his acronym. Yours the Taxman. Similar kind of stories, you think?
Yeah.
Do you think you'll get on?
Yeah, I think so. You usually do, don't you? When somebody with the same background, you get on, don't you? It's just, I think he's trying to help kids as well now and change his life around. So I think that's good, because I think if he hadn't done the things of the past, right, you couldn't help the kids of today. So you can't change it. I don't regret nothing, because if you can't regret things, because if you regret things, obviously you're going to make yourself ill. So, I wish I'd have done this, I wish I'd have done that, and I wish I'd have done that and done this, and I could have won this Welsh song, I could have done this, I could have done that. It's gone. Forget about it. Move on. Just move on.
History. It's over. It's gone. See, what I like Brian, right, is like, you know, we've all got our stories, and we've all told our stories. You've told your story on James English. You've told it on other podcasts. You've done documentaries.
Yeah.
People know who you are. Right? I don't. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm here, and I'm asking questions because I want to know. And what I'm finding out is that I'm identifying and the similarities of growing up.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So, but we both went down different paths. My drug use started very, very early, where yours started quite late.
Right.
So I destroyed myself earlier on.
Right.
And it led to over 20 years in prison, in and out of institutions, comas. It was horrendous. And I take full responsibility. Course, I created my own problems, I created my own consequences.
I'm glad you've said that, because a lot of people blame it was because of him, it's because of her, it's because of that, but it's you who does the thing, isn't it?
Oh yeah, but in the beginning, when they had no understanding and no awareness, and people do this, I blamed the fact that I was brought up on beans on toast. That my dad was beating the living daylights out of me for nothing. Right? That we had no clobber. We like, I was like a scruff. You know what I mean? I was like, I had nothing to. So I never felt a fitted in. I felt like really like my self-esteem
like a black sheep with the stool on.
I was, and I was the oldest, and I never really had a childhood. So what I'm saying is, like, growing up, I believed I used to suppress all that. I felt shit about myself, so I'm gonna.
And sometimes what you do, you'll make an excuse. He's done my editing today, and just to go on the drink, or he's done my editing to go on the drugs, and you use excuses because you're addicted to it. So you make excuses, don't you? I'm on drugs because of this happened to me as a kid. I'm on drugs because that happened. Loads of people got them problems, didn't they?
Yeah, and I see people go, "I use because
you get older and you realise, don't you?
You've got to grow up.
Yeah, of course. Right? Yeah, and you've got to take responsibility for your own actions.
And I've always learned that if you don't tell your story, someone else will tell it for you. And whether it'll be accurate is another thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, so is it true that, like, did you actually make millions out of these drug dealers?
Yeah, we had fortunes. Well, not with Lee, but when Lee got killed, and when I was in jail, I think the police, they met me one day in the street and they said, the scene was telling you about the 100 phone calls a day. He said, you're going to get killed or you're going to go to jail for life. And I don't think that Bobby was a horrible cop. I think he was just telling us the truth. I was 25, I think Lee was 25. And Lee got killed and I went to jail. So I got remanded. I had a fight with a big lad, 20-year-old lad. I knocked him out. He went to the police on me. I got remanded the next day. But I think the police deliberately done that because me and Lee together were too powerful for the police, because they weren't that. In them days, there wasn't that much backup the police had. So they put me away. And when I was in jail, I was in about 3 weeks and he was killed. So, and he'd already had like 3 attempts on his life. So
this is Lee. So what happened with Lee? How did he come to his demise?
He got stabbed to death in a fight, but it was his own fault, who the lad he was fighting with. And he just pushed he kept thinking he was invincible, but no one's invincible, not anyone. And that's what happened. He got shot the first time, he got shot a second time. Somebody threw petrol over him. and the fourth time he got killed. But the lad who he was fighting with had to do it because he was
no choice.
He had no choice, the lad, no choice whatsoever.
See,
and even the Duffy family forgive the lad and spoke to him after, and even Lee's mum forgave them, and the lad got off, and I was glad the lad got off, even though he was, a bit of a villain himself and that, but Lee wouldn't. Lee was like me, he'd rather the lad get off than go to jail because it was Lee's fault.
You're backing someone into a corner, mate.
You've got no choice. You can't. It's like us being back at school as kids getting chased. I put myself in that position, so...
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible, you know what I mean? So, I had my ear bit off when I was 15 years old, Brian. It was by a bigger kid. And this was over Easter eggs. This is like I lost an ear over a fucking Easter egg.
Well, when Easter comes, I'm going to give you some eggs.
It was, see, this is what... You're losing body parts over chocolate bars, you know what I mean? It doesn't fucking make sense, does it? So that affected me growing up as well. I felt ugly. I wasn't like the prettiest anyway, you know what I mean? I had a few punches in the face and... and I got to a point where I thought, I just didn't care about myself. And that's what I'm talking about, where I started early.
It's just with the drugs, like when you're on the drugs, you just don't give a shit, really.
Yeah, so...
you don't care if you live or die, do you? You're not bothered. You're not bothered. If I die tomorrow, I'm not bothered.
Now I am.
I am now, but in them days, I was like, sometimes I'd say, if you're real, God, just take me tonight. I was that bad on the drugs.
That's where the lack of fear comes in, when you use it, because it's like, you're just turbocharged, fucking Johnny Bananas on these these drugs, and
that's right.
Take away them, and you're right. You're really vulnerable. There's moments, right? Like it's like taking a shade off a lamp. And you're like a bare bulb. And you're vulnerable. You know what I mean? And
another thing,
very
I
sensitive.
don't know if it's for you, was when you were training really hard, and you were on blob, and you were doing really good. You're not frightened of no one, and everyone's scared of you because they know what you can do with your fists. But when you're on the game, you go from 24 stone down to 18 and you're out. People started having goes with me. Would never dare have a go in the past. But I'd still beat them, but I would struggle in the fights and things. So they're having goes now because I've lost the weight and I'm not as good. I'm on the crack and they know that. So they take advantage of you. And people do that, don't they?
It's fucking mad, and it's like you've gone from like making millions off these drug dealers by taxing them, right, to smoking crack cocaine, right, and getting fronted by kids who you never thought would front you any other day. See, it's why? What happened? What was it? The lifestyle that you were living that you just thought I'm going to have with Lee?
Well, we had the lifestyle mainly. We weren't making that much mainly because it wasn't that big. But when in the 80s, when in the 80s it wasn't as big, but in the 90s it was massive because the Ecstasy come on the scene. I was the first person of the rave clubs up there with Don LaRoche and other lads, and we started the rave scenes, and it was just crazy money. People, you can't have took that much money, but Billy, there was a lot, even in Liverpool yourself, lads had come from Liverpool and all sorts to come up, so it was only not clubbing and all things. I think there was Cream was down your way, and they'd come up from Liverpool to Manchester, and we'd have like a rave for 2 days, so being there, and it'd be like 15, 20 quid a ticket. There'd be like 3,000 people in there. The money was astronomical, what you were making, like 60 grand on a door, just crazy. And there was a lot more money then because a lot more people were working. There was people doing like your Del Boy stuff, selling dodgy clothes and trainees. There was all sorts of cigarettes getting sold, and the cops weren't bothered, it wasn't illegal. So there was a lot more money about then. So, and there was a lot more jobs doing, and burglaries and stuff and things like that were more because they were easy to do, and pinching was a lot easier to do than it is now because obviously they've got the crime, the forensics is unbelievable now what they've got. So there was a lot of crime, so there was a lot of money about, and people would just go to the rave club at the weekend. But they weren't on crack and they weren't on heroin then, it was just the Ecstasy. Maybe have a few joints, people, I never took that. But people would come to the rave clubs and be off their heads, and I remember when you stabbed me dad and you shot me uncle, and we're all right now, and everyone was happy, and them love dubs, and it was like a mad thingy, it was like a great time type of thing. But I'm not saying it's good taking Ecstasy, but it was at the time. But then when you go into the coke, it's different thing altogether. That's the Paranoia drug. It's absolutely horrible stuff. Horrible.
I think we all went through that. I recently done a documentary with Sky, and it was about the Ecstasy and stuff. I can't really talk much about what's involved.
Obviously,
because obviously it's not out yet. But my experience growing up, it's like a love drug, innit?
Yeah.
Ecstasy, Everyone's your best mate, and, you know, there's no arguments.
Your worst enemy.
You know, you never argued with anyone, and it was just great, and you had that experience. But for me, I went a snowball from that into, I don't think it's, I went down the Charlie route, so I went straight to crack cocaine and heroin.
Right,
you know, and that was a big, you know, it was a big disaster for me.
Do you think a lot of people got on heroin because they take the crack and the paranoia was that bad? They would take heroin to come down. A lot of people I know got in the heroin that way. They think I'll have a little bit of that to come down, then they end up getting addicted to the heroin as well.
Yeah, it's because it's a balance in it. You're looking for a balance. It's like, you know, when people drink,
you want to come down, don't you?
Yeah, you want to level out. You know, it's not the best feeling.
A lot of our friends have done that and end up being on the smack. So, but it's just horrible. It's probably the worst drug ever. But all drugs are horrible. You're all horrible.
There was something I was watching last night on that documentary. It was talking about you know, have you ever been arrested? You've been arrested for murders and stuff like that. Or alleged, right? And there was a question after you asked if you had about did this ever happen and you went, would I do something like that? Right, and I don't know what I was feeling when I heard that, to be honest. I was thinking, is he saying that in a condescending way? Because this is going back a few years now, isn't it?
He's talking there.
I'm thinking, is he saying that in a condescending way, or is he saying that as if to say, because I'd say, would I do something like that?
Yeah.
Knowing that I would. You with me? Was that the kind of way you would tell me? Come on,
no, I've never gone. I've never been. What I've been done for people, I've had fights with people. Obviously, lots of fights. But I've had fights with people who've been killed later on. I've had a fight with one lad, and he got killed 2 weeks later. So I thought it was something to do with me. And I had a fight with another lad from Leeds, and he got killed. So, and the bigger your name is, I was a bit like, not being big, I was a bit like Jesse James and Billy the Kid and them. Everything that happens in a 400 mile vicinity, it's Brian Cockerill. So every time I got done for shooting, like them Blue Monkeys, I got done for shooting for here and some shooting for there. But one of the shootings I got the blame for. I went to the Redcar police station and I reported my licence missing. And the shooting took place in Stockton, which is about 15 mile away, at 2 o'clock. And I was in the police station 2 o'clock till 3, reporting my licence, so it can't have been me. So they nicked me for it, but that was my alibi.
But did you think,
Yeah.
Did you think all this getting attached to you, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he's getting blamed for this, he's getting blamed for that, he's being pulled in for that. It's sort of, you're not you know, you're
it's because of me on what I was doing, taxing everyone.
So did that elevate your ego and think, oh
yeah, probably did, I thought it was clever, that was great, and they've done me for another murder, but nothing to do with me. I mean, they've done me for a few things. I was with my friend Kev Kilty, they bugged my car, we found the bug, me and Brian Flaherty. It was top of the range pub. We went to Leeds with it, and we're starting to get a bit scared because we said the only people who've got this something like MI5 or the SES or something. He said this is the elite like bug. You can't get any higher. So it started to get scary then. So it was like time to step away because if you got the MI5 people like up your ass, you can do anything you want, you can go missing, so it just started getting scary for me then. So that was the way, that's when I started probably hammering the gear as well, because I got away from the drugs and I started having the gear more, staying in, losing weight, didn't want to go out and face people, you've lost weight, and putting big coats on to look bigger. And
what was you using in the end?
Crack, just the crack. I never sniffed the sniff, didn't think do nothing, I was just off the crack. And you'd think,
did you ever go on the gear? Did you ever go to Bobby?
What's that?
The brown?
No, I never touched it.
So did you have any Xanos?
I'd have like maybe a couple of diazepam and things like that, but I wouldn't be on loads and loads. That's where the paranoia is bad, because you sat there on the come down, you hear the least noise like the milkman. I'm sure he's a fucking cop, that milkman. I'm sure that postman's a cop. Everyone's a policeman. Because when you're up there and you have the elite police chasing you and bugging you in cars and things like that, you're wanted. So it was quite scary, because you're on the drugs, and every time you're in a car, bang the door. It's like the police could raid me, because I've been raided that, but I've never had the door kicked in because I've been charged that many times for firearms, so they're a bit weird thinking I've got a firearm, because they said if he's got a weapon, he will use it. Because I was that crazy in them days, you just didn't care, you weren't bothered if you got shot or killed. But now I'm older and wiser, it's not a good thing. But all the murders I got nicked for were always sold to somebody else.
What are you now, 56?
56 going on 16, mate. So.
Yeah, 56 going on 16.
Yeah, still, it's been our last like that, and I think if you live like that, a life like that, you have a better life, and we're always laughing and joking, and we're going out and helping people. It's great life now, where before it was just life.
You don't strike me as someone who's lived like life you've lived.
Yeah.
And being portrayed in books and documentaries as this
Tell the police that.
this gangster from Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
Is it, you know, and
yeah, I was always a nice person. I was never nasty.
Nice heart. I interviewed this guy, and I've got it. It's he's been away for a long time, and you know, he's trying to clear his name. He spent a long time in prison, and I was thinking, you haven't got that killer instinct.
No.
When you look in someone's eyes,
That's
you go,
right.
you haven't got that killer
instinct. Look at the
instinct.
crazy eyes, don't you? You just know they've got that.
They're just not there, you know.
No.
But you haven't got that, Brian. I don't know what you were like back then. I mean, when you're under the influence, right? You know, everyone's.
As a fighter, I would never want to kill anyone in a million years. But fighting people, I used to go in there and fight. But that was a different thing, fighting, as you know. But you don't want to. You never want to go in the ring and kill someone. You as a boxer. So it's just you want to fight.
The kid. I stopped it last night. The kid who robbed that car, right? Right, and you found him in the boozer car park. I think it was. Yeah.
Right. Let me tell you that story. That kid, right? The kid who was with me, Patrick Henry. Yeah. It was his brother-in-law, and he'd had a fight a couple of nights before, and he got a bat. It was nothing to do with the robbery. It was just to make the documentary look good. Yeah. So he was a friend. I gave him 50 quid to say that. Yeah. You better behave yourself. So it wasn't real.
It was drama.
It was drama. Drama of the thing.
Drama.
The kid will tell you now this day. He never pinched the car. But we had him
because he was saying, man, that he'd been beat up.
Yeah, well, and he'd had a fight with some.
But I was thinking, Brian's just said, look, I'm not going to hit you, and you know, go your own way. And then I think he couldn't have just stolen on him a couple of days later.
No.
I'm glad you never.
Yeah, no, we never know. Just he's only just a kid. Nah, he wouldn't put him on the telly. He'd have been arrested and everything, wouldn't he? Because we're getting to call the grass next.
So.
No, that's right. You've sussed it yourself, didn't you? You couldn't hit him, bloody hell.
No. I don't. See, that's what I'm saying.
He'd been out. I think it was his brother-in-law, and Liam Henry's one of the lads from Middlesbrough. He said, I need a kid to pretend to be a car thief. I've got what he is, a car thief, and that's so.
Well, it is what it is, mate. They, like you know, they'll do what they do on their side of the thing.
Yeah, well, they wanted me to do a live tax. I went, I'm not doing that. No. Oh, we can blank them out. I said, don't you think they'll get a court order to put the faces in? Yeah. So I couldn't do that.
So was you active back then? Was that when he was doing the documentary? Was you actively taxing people back then?
Yeah.
Because you were a unit, you know what I mean? You still are, to be fair.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're going out and doing what you're doing.
I was half the time on the show, as you can see.
Yeah, that was on it, mate. I was on it. I think he's wide, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like spitting feathers all the time. Yeah. But it's
totally different today, Anna, as you can see.
No, Brian. I'm glad that I never got. I'm glad I never done a bit of research and looked into things because when you do that, you start like the name comes before the person. Yeah. So I'd rather shit down.
Do it raw. Yeah.
Yeah. See, look, I always said, look, I've got no fear of this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
The only person I ever really feared was myself.
Yeah.
Right. It was Brian, and the reason I say that is because I'm scared of how I'll react.
Yeah.
Right. No, you come on from me, go, I'll have a straightener with you.
Yeah.
Right. But then I've got a choice. I could say, okay, so walk away, Bill. Live to fight another day. Yeah. Right. Yeah. But then that is, I'm scared.
I talked to my friend Ernie Buke, who was the best fight ever from Sunderland. I said, this lad, he's done me. I feel like smashing his face on. And then 2 days later, I feel all right. He said, I get the same thing. Yeah. All fighters got it. He said, pride that. And Tony Grange from the church says, got to walk away because you've got to think about your wife, you've got to think about your dog, you've got to think about your house, your brother, your sisters. He said, at the end of the day, you're going to hit someone now because of your reputation. You'll destroy everything. End up in Home House Jail, which is our local jail, sitting there in an 8x12 cell over some idiot. So I'd rather walk away. I'd just rather walk away. I've walked away a few times. Thought, you shit house, you coward. Have you lost your bottle? And it's not that. It's just you've grew up, you've got wise, and you think it's not worth going to jail.
You're not even that old, are you, Brian?
No,
what I mean? But it's obviously you're not going
to be. I'm just pretending I'm 56. I'm 26. Yeah, I just love to help people. I think the analogies, if you go out and you get up, what I do before I get out of bed every day, I have 10 minutes before I get up. So, what can I do today to make somebody else's life better? What can I do to make my life better, to make it the best day I can? And that's the way I live my life now. I don't live it like, next month I'm going to do this and next year I'm going to do that. I just get up every day and that's the way I'd kept off the drugs. And every day I pray to God, thank you very much. I'd want another day off it.
That's you've got an higher power, haven't you?
Yeah, of course. The only person, Kim Kilty taught me this, the only person who can do your head in is yourself. Yeah. That's it. Don't let outside forces control you. Like when people say, oh, you're a bully. okay, mate, thanks very much, pray for you. Move on next one, and when you do that,
kill him with kindness.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they're like, I thought he was hard. And then one offered me out on I think it was John Fury, saying, "Would you fight John Fury?" I went, "No." He said, "Why are you scared? Would you get in case you got beat?" I said, "No. What if I won?" And Tyson was looking for me. I'm not having that.
Yeah.
And just
human.
Yeah, just human. Yeah.
My mate Aaron Smith, lovely fella. He was a bodybuilder. He said, you done a little video for him a couple of weeks ago for Christmas. He said, "You're always welcome to Liverpool." He said, "But he's not paying for your breakfast." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Have you seen what he eats?" So what is it? Describe, like, what was that fucking breakfast?
Oh, well, that was just on holiday, that really. Yeah. But when I was there, but when I was going for the World Strongest Man, I was
3 lamb chops for your brekkie.
I was having like 20,000 calories a day when I was going for the World Strongest Man, and I was 23 stone 10 pounds. I was really, really strong, I carried curling 50 kilos.
20,000 calories a day?
20,000.
So what was you eating? Like,
but I was having like mainly in protein drinks and that, because like porridges full of carbs and stuff. I'd have like 5 or 6 protein drinks with porridge and a full 10 pints of milk a day. I'd have like 2 chickens a day. I'd have a kebab or something on the night. And you have to eat that type of crap food to go on the World Strongest Man, because you have to be heavy to pull the aeroplanes and the things like that. So, and I started squatting 900 pounds, and I dislocated my knee 3 days before the competition, knocked my knee up, and then I went back on the gear because I was sat in the bed, doing nothing.
Yeah, so you'd cost us a fortune, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
For the brekkie, like, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Taking you for the brekkie, lad.
A cow and a slice of bread, please. Yeah.
Just give us 2 buffaloes. I
don't eat that much now. I just eat. Obviously, you get older, you don't need as much food.
No. And as you get older, it's fucking hard to get off as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think you've got to train. I think what you do if you train, it stops you getting diabetes and everything like that, because it eradicates it. But if you do, what I say to people, the worst thing you can do is sit in the house and ruminate, just sit in the room and think, what if she did this and he did that and she did, you can go on forever to infinity. So the thing is, you're doing your own heading then. And what you've got to do is think, 97% of what you think doesn't happen. So you're going on, if I do trade the mortgage, I'll lose that. If I do this, I don't go to work, I get a bad leg, and you can go on forever making these analogies up, and you've got to just sit back and just think, stop doing it. It's
what you said, we live in the now, right?
Yeah.
But we fantasize about the future, and we project, our worries, what if this and what if and this, that, and I've done it, and I've isolated myself because of it.
Yeah, that's
or
what
you
I'm
live
saying.
in the past, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
because of this. And then you forget that you're living in the moment. And John Lennon said it, didn't he? He said, life will pass you by while you're thinking about something else.
That's right, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it is what it is.
10 years of my life went like that when I was on that stuff. Oh, where's it gone? I can't remember being on. I can hardly have memories of being on it. I don't know if you know what I'm on about. So I can't think. I remember that night when I got the stuff. Now I can't remember this when I've had that, but I can remember the good memories of going places. Yeah. I can't really remember all the nights I was on the crack. So. It's kind of been that good because I think your head was that off your head. You can't remember because you probably don't want to remember as either.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about rock bottoms now for me, and see if you can identify with this. Yeah. So I thought I could start selling drugs and became my own best customer.
Yeah.
I had a table, full of everything that I wanted, and I remember this well, Brian. Right?
Yeah.
I had the crack, the gear, the phone was ringing. People were calling me, and I just broke down sobbing, and it was like I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't know why I felt the way I felt until a few years later. It was like I had everything I wanted in front of me, but there was nothing that I needed.
Yeah. Do you think it's a bit like the pop stars that they've got to the top?
Yeah.
And the movie stars have got everything you can have. They've got the drugs, the women, everything they want, and they don't really want anything.
Yeah.
There's nothing else left to do.
There's nothing.
These top pop stars and that, and they end up killing themselves and things like that. And
whether you've got loads of money or whether you're
it doesn't. I say to people, if you've got 10 tellies, you can only watch one. Yeah. If you've got 10 cars, you can only drive one. If you've got 8 toilets, you can only go to one. So it's not always about. I've had all the big Porsches, 60 grand cars, and I've taxed boats off people. I've had bloody Cosworths and everything, that type of thing, and top of the range jewellery, 40, 50 grand of the jewellery, watches and all that, and it's just imitation.
What happened? Did you smoke it all?
Well, I did, but what it was is, you can't do. I've been stopped with 50 grand before the police, but they couldn't do that them days. because you just say, well, I've won at the race course, and you didn't have to prove nothing, where now it's all the money laws and money laundering. That's why I got out of it, because of the money laundering laws, and you can't prove where you've got the money from, and you go to jail just for having a bit of money, and it's just not worth it now. The technology they've got now, you can't turn your phone off no more. They know where you're at everywhere. My wife turned the phone off the other day, the battery ran out, and she went walking all over, come back and put it on, and told her where she'd been on, and that was the battery was off and everything, so the technology is just exponential now. You just can't get away with things like you could in the old days.
Do you think if you could still get away with it, you would?
No, not for me. It's not. Honest, a life of drugs is just a life of misery, and you're just making everyone else's life of misery when you sell it to them. You're contributing to kids not getting the food. You're contributing to people burgling houses, robbing people. It's just not a good place to be. I know, I'm in the best place I've ever been with my wife, because she's with us in Jesus Christ. Our Saviour's helped us. So when I start getting depressed, I pray to God, or I'll go out for a walk with the dog and things like that, and that's my bit of solace, because you always get, I've had a bit of down days now, because I'm going for an operation on my back, so been a bit depressed with that. So nobody ever has 100% up days all the time. We always have our ups and downs, but God puts hurdles there for you to get over, and sometimes the devil throws things out like shiny objects, like the bag of coke on the floor. My wife found a little bag, and we threw it, so we got over that hurdle. So I'll never touch it again as long as I live.
I've found that, you know, I'm abstinent myself, Brian. I haven't used for a long time now. And don't drink, I don't smoke. You know, I've done all that. You know, and it just led to misery. And
you're right.
Yeah, and I've come across drugs in a farm, and it's like, part of me, like, I start trying to manipulate myself. I'll keep that, you know, for later, and I'll throw it away after. And you know, I've got to get rid of it. So you've got to get rid of it straight away.
You see the shit. We got in the car, said throw it. So I'm not throwing out the thing. So it was just that. I think it was like a bit of hailstones a week ago. We just sprinkled on the car park, and it just went.
And how did you feel after that?
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, my wife knows, she did it. My wife did it as well, but she said, I'm proud of you doing that, you know. So she knows I'll never touch it again. I know I won't, and God knows I won't. So with God be with me, I'm 100%, you know, and with him, I'm helping people. I mean, we're doing the podcast we do, the Brian Cockerill. We're on there doing tip of the day. We're showing people how to train. You know, people who've got autism, people with depression, people with handicapped people, all different people with these training springs, you know, like the elastic bands. And
I've seen them, I've been watching a few,
it's training people with them and just showing them that you can do it. And we've got lads who've had a broken back and they're using it. Oh, you've saved me. We've had lads who haven't been out for 6 years getting out of the house because they've got the confidence. And one smart ass come on, went, I can do 25 press-ups. Why would I want to use them? And I can have somebody sitting on my back. I said, yeah, but you're 25-year-old ex-army. I'm talking about people who might only have like hardly any strength, talk about people in their 60s, talk about people who are 10 stone overweight. You've always got someone, always. I mean, there's the one with the dog there, Billy, and it's just watching the telly, the dog, and I put on for show people, he's watching the telly, and people are, oh, he's a lovely dog, and I've got 3 people down. Like one lad said, my three thumbs down for the dog. He's just a dog.
Is this on your YouTube channel?
And when I looked at it, I looked at the stuff, and I looked at like Fluffy Clouds, 2,000 likes, 200 people not like, Little Elephants, 2,000 likes, 50 not likes. So people just like to be awkward, or people are just horrible, aren't they?
It is what it is, lad. You know, you're gonna get it, mate. You know,
of course, yeah.
It's like you can have like, you know, 10 positive comments and then 1 negative, and you'll tune into that because that's where your mind.
Well, what I do, me, but I say to people, I don't even do that. What I do is, if someone taught me the psychologist, a lad called Steve Norton, he's coming again. He's really good. He really helps people. And he said, I was talking to him, I said, what I do, if I get 50 good positive ones and then I get 1 big one, I don't let that destroy me. I take the good and the bad are the same. And if you do that, you'll never get, if you, great, and you get yourself down just mediocre on both of them. So I just don't take I think, oh, thanks very much. But when they call me, I go, thanks very much for your honesty. That's your opinion. You want to comment and say I'm an arsehole or whatever, that's up to you, because you can't stop people thinking it's the concept in the brain, because that's somebody's mind. If you let that get to you, then obviously you're going to be miserable.
Let them get in. Let them jump the queue, lad. You know what I mean? It's like you're going to always, you know, it is what it is. And I've had my brother, like you said, I'd done a little video with him, and it was just we were just miming, and there was 2 thumbs down, and everyone's saying, well, why would they put 2 thumbs down?
Yeah.
You know, maybe it was just an error.
Well, maybe, maybe.
Maybe they just made a mistake.
but
he's harmless.
Yeah, but you get people just horrible, nasty, because they see you, he's successful, and people, he said that to me, James English said, when you're down here, level with someone, they're all right with you. When you're in a rock bottom side out down here, and then you come the same as them, and then you go past them, then the jealousy starts coming. And I think he's right. So people start getting jealousy of success. But my success story, my greatest thing I've done, the best fight I ever had was beating cocaine. And that's my best fight I've ever done.
We were talking, me and James, about like exactly what you talked about, like being down there and, you know, success and trolls and, you know, what is a troll, and you know, discussing a lot of things in them areas. It's it is what it is, and it's life on life terms. You're gonna,
I said to Tony Grange, and he's a church leader. He said that's the best thing I've ever heard anyone say. I said, look, no one can get everyone to love them, even Jesus Christ couldn't. And he went, that's the best saying I've ever heard. That he said. So yeah, it's true. You can't get everyone to like you and everyone to love you, but at the end of the day, who wants to? You need people to say, "Oh, you're wrong." And I like people like you and Kev Kilty, who's here today, my mate. If I've done it wrong, you say, "I don't want to do that." And
Kev Kilty, Kev Kilty. I know he's in the background. Right, but his son. Tell me about his son.
Well, his son Richard. He's the best athlete we've ever had in the North East. One of the best in Britain. He's the captain of team Great Britain Olympic team. He was in the 60-metre sprint. He broke the world record. First one ever to do what he did. He won it 3 years in a row. He's just a fantastic. He had the Americans versus Europe, and he beat them in a 200-metre sprint. If you Google him, he's just fantastic. And when he was a kid, he wanted to be like me. I was like, he's going to be doing a podcast with me soon. He listened to me the other good. And your dad's here and all to back me up. But he's going to be doing one with us. And it's about Richard. He's just a lovely lad, and everyone loves him because
this is what you want around you. People who are positive and people who are motivated and people who are...
That's exactly. You know, people like you, yourself. It's great to be people like James English, who are fantastic. If you surround yourself with positive people, you get rid of all the phone numbers of the drug dealers. You get rid of your phone and get a new phone. And surround yourself with nice... small circle of lovely people, and that way you're not going to get back on the drugs, and because them people who try to get you on drugs aren't your friends, not in a million years. But getting back to Richard, he's a lovely lad, and he's done fantastic for himself. But I was the first one to buy me spikes when he was a kid, size 4 shoes. So I didn't know that until Richard and Kevin told me that not long ago. I gave him some money for Christmas and that, and he got his running shoes, so that it's good to help someone like that, and he's such a lovely lad.
I think you described yourself right on one of your documentaries as a Robin Hood. Right, but even Robin Hood wore a mask yourself.
Did
you,
a lot of my money I give away.
Did you?
Yeah, loads and loads, and Kevin will tell you, I'll go down the people I've got now, and people will be losing the house, and I'll give them a grand, and I'll give him 400 quid and 200 quid to him, and I used to give my family money, and I give loads of my money away.
So you wasn't selfish?
No, not one bit. No, I've always been.
But actually self-centered in a sense where like you'd kind of like.
For helping people, just because you get a bit of buzz off that helping someone. I was making 20 grand. I got 20 grand a week, so to me to go and give somebody £400 to stop them losing a house was nothing. So it was good. It was good.
No, and you know what? It's rewarding, and it's like. I get up and I do things with my brother, and I've always said this. I didn't really spend much time with him as a kid. I felt embarrassed, to be honest, because he was in my way, you know, of me using him and my lifestyle. And it was only till like years later when I sat down with him and I realised that he was there. And
he's funny, and he's really he's quick, and he's very quick.
He's quick, and he's the closest thing to me. And I love the bones.
I know that. I could feel that.
And he wants to do things, right? He's very selfless. He wants to do he does a lot of charity work for like the NHS and for doctors and toxic ambulance services. And
it's brilliant.
He does it because he enjoys it.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
And a lot of people love him for that. I love him for it. I love him for it.
I love him a bit. So I've seen him a few times.
We're planning on doing some walk up. It's going to be a tough one, like Movammer and like Snowden and stuff, but we do stuff like that. We're going to raise it for Alder Hay Hospital. So that's important, and it's important to give back. I like what you said there, Brian. The fact that you were still like classed as robbing people, right? You were still giving it to the poor and helping out your local.
Yeah.
You know, you even ran for mayor once, didn't you? Was it mayor?
I was going to go for mayor just to wind them all up. I've been asked to go for it again recently.
Have
You'd win it now.
Mayor Cockerill.
Yeah, imagine that.
You'd win it in
the
Liverpool.
The only reason why I wanted to go to the mayor so I could get the gold chain, take the John Ramsden and pawn it in.
They're all robbing bastards anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Someone said to me, the more power they go up, the more robbed they are. Yeah. They're just legal gangsters in the House of Commons. Yeah, but what I say is we just like helping people, you know, and I always have done. When people get bullied, I've gone and sorted bullies out and leave them alone, and you leave them alone. And
so do you think you were like...
We police the place more better than the police, because when you're on the council stage, where we're from, if you go to the police, you get your windows put through, you go to Brian Cockerill or the local lad case, whatever area you're in, and he goes and sees Tommy Jenkins and Tommy Smith, you leave him alone, you leave him alone, it's sorted, nobody gets called a grass, and everyone's happy. And we've done more to help people than we have to hurt people.
So what's it like today then? What's it like today, like from your history, has that ever come back and beat you on the arse?
No, because I've spoke up and told the truth. I was a crackhead, I was on the drugs, I did tax people, I did do things that was wrong. We're actually the admin now for the anti-knife campaign. We'd put down your life, save a life, whatever it's called now. We're in that with Ben Spann, so we're doing that as well, going around clubs. I've been to schools, been going to schools, teaching kids, look, get a job. Don't sit. What you're going to do when you leave school? I don't know. You sell drugs. You can just sell the ones who are selling drugs. You can tell by the clothes and stuff.
So is this what your plans are going forward?
Yeah. Going to the prisons. We're probably doing that when this lockdown's over. The mayor from Middlesbrough's contacted me. The other one's contacted me from North Tees. Richard's really good friends with them. He's going to help us with them as well. So we're going to try and help put back in the community and do a lot more than what we did bad in the past, you know.
So your history benefits the generation of our...
That's exactly right,
It is, isn't it? It's like, you know, what our mistakes are tomorrow's changes for people
like that,
moving forward.
I like to say, you can't regret your past, because if you didn't do what you did in your past, you couldn't help the kids of today and tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing, because you know what's going to happen. You just see what's happening. You can see where they're going. And when you go to jail, as you know, you come out, you can have an IQ like Albert Einstein, and you can be the cleverest person in the room, but you won't get the job because you've been to jail. They'll give it to somebody who's a lot thicker than you, because they're trusty, because they haven't been to jail. So you've got to... anyone can change their life. I've changed my life. You've changed your life, mate.
You know what, mate? I'm really glad I came up today, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity to do a podcast with you. Now, before we finish, Brian, right? We've covered a lot of ground, and I like the fact that we've identified, and you know, is there anything? I know you've said a lot anyway, but it's like, is there any pearls of wisdom or anything you'd tell the listeners out there that you know, any advice?
For the young kids out there now, they're trying to be like the Brian Cockerill and Lee Duffys of the past. It's gone, it's old hat. Move on from it. Don't do what we did, because your life's in peril. When you start selling drugs, you're going to put your life at risk, and you're going to put your family's life at risk. And I'm not being disrespectful. These people, these wild people from different countries that are coming in now, aren't like the old school. They'll kill you for 30 quid. There's been a couple of Albanians killed their lads not long ago for £30 where we live. So it's a different ball game. You're playing with these really dangerous people. And don't carry a knife, because if you're carrying a knife and you get into a fight, your anger, or you're on drugs, you'll pull that knife, you'll stab someone. If you kill someone, you're not just taking your life, you're destroying your mum, your dad, your brothers, your sisters, and the other family. You're destroying all their families. So you're destroying not just one family, you're destroying two families. And you're not just taking their life, you're taking your own life, because you're going to jail for 20 years. So I advise you, please don't go down that route. Just don't carry knives, because that's what you need to do.
And this is your book, is it, Brian? Cockerill and Lee Duffy, The Taxman of Teeside. And I'll put this in the description.
It's done really well. It's sold 600 books in 2 weeks, so it's flying. It's going good.
So where can you find this?
It's on... Well, if you go on my YouTube channel, on my Facebook channel, it's there. It's in Waterstones, W.H. Smith's. It's with Steve Wraith. You go on Steve Wraith's channel. It's on there as well. So it's good. But
so what? Where can we find you? What social?
So I'm on Facebook. I'm on the Taxman of Teeside. I'm on Brian Cockerill. I'm on Brian Cockerill's three or four different ones I'm on. But don't go on the Resurrection page, because that was my page. It's not now somebody else is using it, pretend to be me.
Yeah.
So don't go on that. I'm on Brian Cockerill YouTube channel where I'm doing tips of the day. I'm helping people with mental health, helping people to get back on their feet, and it's really, really good helping people.
So to finish it off, I think we should go in the front garden and have a straightener.
Right, not with you. I'm no way I'm on you, mate.
Thanks for coming
along. Okay, mate. Thank you. Cheers,
Appreciate
pal.